we're joined by three candidates seeking the Democratic nomination for governor of West Virginia. In alphabetical order, let's meet them. We'll get to some of the crashes that we saw on the interstate and throughout the area later today. But Colleen Campbell, you've been watching this system as it has approached. This was nasty. The leadership on both sides of the aisle is changing next year. How do you see it shaping up? Minutes before we came on the air at 5:30, I spoke on the phone with Delegate Mike Caputo and Delegate Michael Angelucci. Interesting development here. Angelucci actually serves on the board of directors here at Fairmont Regional Medical Center. He told me even the board was caught off guard. They weren't given a heads up as to the decision announced today to close Fairmont Regional Medical Center. Good evening, folks. So happy to have you with us live here from the Meadowbrook Mall. We are in the 5 News Event Center for this special Black Friday edition of 5 News at 6. I'm going to turn things back over to our Bridgeport studios where meteorologist Adam Wright is standing by with a look at some of those current conditions. Adam. Certainly more than we could do back here on Earth. Dr. Morgan, we understand you're a Steelers fan as well. Do you cheer on the Mountaineers or do you follow WVU while you're up there? In that first round of money set aside for the PPP program ran out in just a couple weeks. If money from this next round of funding runs out just as quickly, are there already talks to pump more money into the program? These are the prosecutors in the case of President Donald Trump. They include high-ranking members of the House, including Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff and Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler. The power of the incumbency can raise money. Can Paula Jean Swearingen raise money to compete with Senator Capito in November? Do you get the sense that she could remain financially competitive? Well, Rosie, don't you fear, because I'm a little intimidated by cats, too. They can be mean, especially Colleen's. But as far as dogs who are blind or have vision problems, what are there difficulties there when it comes to taking care of them? We want to check in now on the race for Attorney General. Patrick Morrisey, we already knew was going to clinch the Republican nomination. Who will he challenge in November? We're just hearing from Morrisey moments ago, putting out a statement saying his campaign in November is going to be a positive one, focusing on some of his strengths. This is a very tight race and has been going back and forth all night, but right now it's Sam Petzonk in the lead with 51% of the votes. And when you point out those asymptomatic people, they make up, I suppose, a good percentage of people, like you said, who spread the virus. When you're testing the entire state's population, is there a percentage you're eyeing that you want to see tested before decisions are made? Because right now it's about 1.5% of the state's population that have been tested, and these are decisions that affect 1.8 million West Virginians. This is an email that I found in my inbox earlier today. It claims I've won a $1,000 gift card. That's not exactly the case, obviously. The FBI says it receives hundreds of thousands of complaints every year and wants to make sure you protect yourself. Good evening. We begin with a developing story. We now know the identity of another person whose death was deemed suspicious at the Clarksburg VA.
You are watching WVFX Fox 10 Clarksburg, the area's only 10 o'clock news. Fox 10 News at 10 starts now.
On the broadcast tonight, fix the dang roads, just not with coronavirus money. The move by the governor drawing criticism from local officials. Plus, we'll break down new guidelines for hunters that went into effect this week. Those stories, plus your first alert forecast tonight on Fox 10 at 10. Good evening. The coal industry has been hit hard by the pandemic. It employed roughly 70,000 people in the U.S. by the end of 2014. But by January 2020, it lost 27% of its workforce. And that was before COVID-19. Between January and June, the industry lost another 14% of its workers. It had just under 44,000 workers midway through June. A new report shows it could take years for the U.S. economy to recover from coronavirus. The Congressional Budget Office released its 10-year forecast this week. It estimates unemployment will not return to pre-pandemic levels for at least 10 years. The CBO is also revising its forecast for overall economic growth, and it's predicting the deficit could quadruple this year. West Virginia reported 73 new cases of COVID-19 today. The state has added 220 cases over the last 3 days, the highest amount over any 3-day stretch in the pandemic. Over 630 cases are considered active of the more than 3,100 total cases. Friday also marked the 10th straight day without a new death reported. The death toll stands at 93. Governor Jim Justice announced how $1 billion in coronavirus-related federal aid will be used. But as Fox 10's Joe Buchanan shows us, local leaders are concerned about the ethics of one of the budget items. Governor Justice says thanks to federal grants, the state will finish the year with a revenue surplus. Morgantown police are investigating a shooting that sent a man to the hospital. The 19-year-old shooting victim went to the hospital around 2:30 Thursday. Police say the man was shot once in the chest. His injuries are not life-threatening. Investigators say it happened on Arlington Street. If you know anything about it, call police. Morgantown's new 1% municipal sales and use tax went into effect this week, but the city has received reports that businesses outside city limits are mistakenly being charged the tax. City officials say the finance department is working with the state tax office to correct the situation. Anyone not located within the city limits who is told to pay that tax should call the finance department. Firefighters spent much of Thursday evening tackling a large brush fire. The Jackson's Mill Fire Department says 6 to 7 acres burned. This was along Valley Chapel Road in Lewis County. A sawmill, lumber pile, slab pile, log pile, and logging equipment were also on fire. At least 6 fire departments were on the scene. The Division of Forestry also helped. A study found that some of America's most common fireworks could be toxic. The study suggests some fireworks emit lead, copper, and other toxins. The metals, which give fireworks their vibrant color, were found to damage human cells and animal lungs. Researchers say levels of toxic metals were higher in samples taken near Independence Day and New Year's Eve celebrations than at any other time of the year. Now, if you're looking to stay at home this year for your Independence Day celebrations, we have some places you can go to see some fireworks this weekend. Tomorrow night, if you're in Weston, the Weston Volunteer Fire Department will host fireworks at Robert L. Bland Middle School at around 10 o'clock. Over at Fairmont, you can catch the Independence Day celebrations that will end at a fireworks show at 10 as well. For those of you in Morgantown, head over to Milan Park to enjoy a nice baseball game, a movie, some live music, and those fireworks. They shoot off at 9:45. Now, if you can't make it Saturday, there is an opportunity for you on Sunday. The city of Buchanan will host its 4th of July fireworks celebration at Jawbone Park at nightfall. Due to COVID-19, there are some guidelines you'll need to follow at these events. For details, head to our website, WDTV.com. The 4th of July is tomorrow, and so many local fireworks shows have been canceled, though, as a result of COVID-19. However, fireworks sales are on the rise. Some employees at TNT Fireworks say despite maintaining social distancing guidelines, business has stayed busy amidst the pandemic. Employees also say that this year customers don't even need to leave their cars to purchase fireworks. Demand is up at least 115% across the country for fireworks compared to last year. It was as hot as a firecracker out there today. That's what meteorologist Adam Wright told me earlier. Adam, it's only getting hotter out there in the days to come. What can you tell us? West Virginia Division of Natural Resources released new hunting and trapping guidelines. Madeline Edwards breaks down what you need to know this hunting season. Hunting and trapping guidelines are available at DNR locations and anywhere you can purchase a hunting license. A new state law is now in effect that provides free concealed handgun licenses to many military veterans. Any honorably discharged vet will not have to pay fees and costs associated with a West Virginia concealed handgun license. A similar exemption already exists for honorably retired peace officers from state and local law enforcement. We are now down to only 4 months to go before November's general election. And former Vice President Joe Biden leads President Donald Trump in several swing states. Recent polls show the majority of voters disapprove of the president's handling of nationwide protests after the death of George Floyd and his handling of the coronavirus. Election day is November 3rd. Governor Jim Justice is on that ballot in November, and he said this week he is seriously considering a mandatory mask order. Fox 10's Kaylee Fedko spoke with North Central West Virginians about their thoughts. Crews are removing all of the seats from the WVU Coliseum. We'll tell you why coming up. Plus, if you want to buy a bike this summer, you might be out of luck. How local bike shops are feeling the pain of the pandemic.